Check it out, Spacey. I discovered my AI-enhanced air fryer is completely evil.
Doesn't that violate some sort of ethical contract? And is it still under warranty?
Technically, no, but check it out. It refused to cook my food for me. Do you remember the old days when we used to have a tight grip on our technology? There was no terms of use. You just purchased your hot dogger, then it was yours forever. And the manufacturers couldn't pull the rug out from under you by introducing a new update that allows you to fry shrimp in the company break room. So what's with the lack of digital consent? Now we're experiencing it with constant artificial intelligence trash clogging up our computer's resources. In some ways, we've become very advanced with the black rectangles we carry around in our pockets, but it seems like we're also giving up a lot of autonomy by allowing manufacturers to push updates that alter the functionality of a product you just purchased. For the most part, these updates tend to improve the experience or fix exploits that people can use to steal your information. But it doesn't really help when the features they're adding basically are just data stealers and viruses in their own right. A good example of this is the bloatware you see in every Samsung device. They're constantly pushing you to use their App Store. It's like the Play Store, but significantly worse in every aspect. If I wanted Apple's walled garden, I'd go there. I don't need it in my Android. And it's no different with the AI slop being shoved into these devices. Like, wow, Samsung, I really need AI to enhance my art. It's really helpful to have some computer butchering my work. It's a play feature at best, but let's be real. This thing isn't going to be helpful for anyone, especially not an artist.
It's a good idea to take a breath, take a step back, and reflect on what our experience was using our devices and applications just a few years ago. Say, think back to 2018. We booted up our laptops, used our phones, and maybe even enjoyed the reliability of various kitchen appliances without any anxiety about new features changing or interrupting our experience and expectations when using our stuff, or constantly being nudged by unhelpful machine learning generated messages only vaguely related to what we're trying to do. Don't get me wrong, AI has a key set of beneficial applications. We should not be burning it all to the ground, but hey, if I buy a product or use an app, I don't want AI irrevocably shoehorned into my life.
I'll be real. I can't stand seeing AI slapped on every new product that's come out in the last couple of years. It's hard enough to get away from all the Wi-Fi connected trash in your home, but now they want your air fryer too? You still have to prepare all the food and jostle it halfway through, but at least you don't have to pay attention while cooking it. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I don't know what kind of food I was making. At some point, you really have to applaud AI bros for making it possible for my oven to detect when I put chicken in it. This definitely isn't going to turn into some nightmare dystopia where you can't cook your food because the AI doesn't recognize your Frito pie as a real dish.
Overall, it's hilarious how engineers and tech have de-scoped to such a point where they turn their dreams of ultimate convenience for users into an annoying, inefficient, clunky experience. The dream would be you sit back, everything works exactly as intended without you having to touch or configure anything mid-process. Press a button and go. But we're not there, and it's fair to express pessimism on whether we'll ever get there. A man's still gotta get up to jostle around his nuggies in the air fryer, whether it's a $20 or a $300 model. Huh, buck. Like me.
Spacey, that joke was fucking cringe. Feel bad. Now look. I don't want to walk into Home Depot and have employees start shoving tools into my cart. If I need the tool, I will seek it out. Or ask someone where I can find it. The assumption is insulting. Having this trash forced upon us is kind of insane. They recently did a study. Apparently most people don't even use these features. So the only reason they exist is to push companies' stocks up. They don't exist to benefit the end user. It's just a scam. It's like how everything electronics was called a something-tron back in the 60s. Just clown-ass naming scheme to push out trash to the public. Now, some people are gonna ask, who does this affect? Well, let's be real. This is gonna affect everyone with a computer. Literally anyone who wants to just use basic programs are gonna be forced into ridiculous subscription services.
One thing to note is that different folks' workflows are different. Some of my friends are smart folks who can write elegant multi-threading scripts in C without as much as a textbook for reference. Others utilize AI services to help them out with simple Python plotting scripts. But at the end of the day, everyone's trying to get their work done, and it's their own decision whether or not to have an AI-based bot or autofill feature or whatever helping or not. When I go and buy a cookbook, I don't need it to constantly shove other recipes in my face while I'm trying to focus on cooking a specific one. Give the user freedom to shut it off, without exception.
So what makes this non-consensual? There are many ways you can go about obtaining consent. Usually one of the best ways is if someone seeks out your services. Unfortunately, companies have forgotten that standard and now force you to have things on your machine that can possibly pose a threat to the security of your information. An interesting feature that R.T.D proposed could be a threat to security would be the ability for an AI assistant to change the wake and sleep cycles of your computer without any kind of identification. Something that simple could compromise an entire network of computers. Now here's a little conspiracy theory for you. This tech is actively being used to data mine the user base. Literally, it's the core reason why this bullshit is around. Just another way to muscle control from your hands into theirs. Oh look, another targeted ad, just for you.
Here's another quiet part that these tech bros might not be saying. We'll put a link down in the description to an article by penfriend.ai by Inge von Odluck, if that's the name, talking about the following. It's already a little annoying to see your life being tracked and getting targeted ads, but AI could be utilized by companies to keep evolving and developing more and more effective methods to advertise to you individually, consumer 243487, figuring out the exact times of the day and days of the week when you're vulnerable to being advertised certain products, predicting trends of what you may be interested in a year down the line based on your current characteristics and an external database of previous users' sequence of purchases, and this is all in addition to the massively unrelenting symphony of eyes all around us, watching and listening to every word we say and tracking where we are and what we're thinking, and they're in your walls and they're under your skin and in your ball.
Okay, Spacey, calm down there. Not gonna let all that happen. When can these tools be effective? I'll give a little bit of credit to the AI bros. Some of these programs can actually simplify some textbooks and give a more concise explanation than the original book. But it's not exactly going to be taking anyone's job just yet.
Let's focus a bit on generative AI models. That's the term we use for any AI that creates content, from the uncanny valley looking images to even worse looking videos, but also interesting and useful sounds or novel music or functional code or any kind of text. Y'all might already know this, but it works by referencing massive amounts of downloaded, formatted, and organized data, photos, music, text, whatever it's trying to create, and using complicated mathematics and algorithms to try and create patterns that match the trends it sees in data and how they correlate to the tags that describe the data. In typical dystopian fashion, it analyzes how well it does and makes itself feel good or bad based on how well it did on making something that mimics the desired content in 1,000 different aspects of consideration, characterized by vectors. If I feed in 1,000 photos of cats to some model, half of them are tagged with the word orange, but only the ones with orange in it. Despite the fact that a computer script doesn't have a true brain or a concept of color, it'll eventually say with 99% confidence based on that dataset that some set of hex codes blobbed around the image it makes feels good to send the user when he asks for it to generate an image of an orange cat. It has an element of randomness to the generation process. Image models start with essentially static and apply filter after filter based on, again, complicated math until you end up with an image. And later, it asks itself how happy it is with what it did. The emotions of a blind, deaf, brainless automaton. Reed is such an idiot. Air fryers can't be evil. I'm just gonna cook up some of these discounted deer snacks while he's off in his drawing room.
I told you that thing was fucking evil. So where is the line? I feel like we always try to give these companies the benefit of the doubt, but we really shouldn't. They don't have our best interests in mind. They only care about profit. People that buy something once don't contribute. We should stop accepting this as a business model. They're not making features worth using. And seriously, why would I ever want this shit? If it can't even help an artist like me, then who is this for? It's genuinely awful when it comes to conceptualizing ideas. It's also really bad having it come up with ideas. I remember back when all this AI tech was coming out and every YouTuber would say the most worthless, out-of-character nonsense, then smugly turn to the camera and say, "That was written with AI." Yeah, no shit, it sounded like an ad from the creators themselves. Even when the AI does spit out an interesting idea, it never does something profound. It's usually just creating surreal horror because machines only feel pain.
My philosophy is to try and manage my expectation with these services and check my ego too. Is this image generation tool going to be a fun exercise in vaguely seeing how a deer might look in Van Gogh's style that I can test out after messing with a couple sliders and typing a few words? Or my magnum opus to be put on the wall of the finest art gallery, my own work, birthed from the sweat of Spacey's brow? Finally, I try to be very cautious when using this stuff, since when you get content generated by a generative AI model, it doesn't have self-awareness, it doesn't know what anything means, and it has no moral imperative to tell the truth. It figured out by looking at a bunch of stuff, say music, what kind of seems to be patterns that fit with a bunch of random sliders it created that have no meaning to it, and denoises pure randomness into content. If you're writing something publishable, or needing something based on fact, code that needs to function, etc., it's especially important to dummy check what you generate before sending it off or trying to use it. So with all that being said, I hope to never compromise my humanity when using these tools. If I'm playing piano and I'm out of ideas, I can use an AI tool to give me a spark there. But there's no intention, no meaning behind the melody that was generated. There's no artist. Past the point where I get inspired by something generated, it's now my responsibility as the artist to modify, to recreate and reformat, to attribute back the meaning, the heart, the soul into the melody.
So let's quickly address the future of this AI stuff. What are some different ways this could go 10 to 20 years down the line? What do we want to happen? And how are we probably going to get screwed over in the end anyway?
If we don't begin talking a lot more and influencing legislation on making AI features optional to users, I see non-uninstallable AI features popping up more and more in inappropriate and unhelpful places, and in our most important technology. It'll be invasive and everywhere, learning more about user habits for untapped profit. But swinging the pendulum to the other side, I see these services improving in quality. No more extra fingers on photos, no more random glitches in a voice mod, less incorrect information in an informational paragraph generated by conversational AIs, and better, more functional, more elegant and efficient code. But unless something fundamental changes about the method and technology of machine learning, something horrifying, something worse than a minor inconvenience from an annoying pop-up window is likely to emerge. Because it does not understand, it can't know for sure whether a sentence or a code segment makes sense. It just rewards or punishes itself on how well it fit a big set of data fed into it. It does not love, so when it creates art, it's condensing and mishmashing together the art and the music composed and drawn with the creator's passions and affections, serving you a big mixed up spoonful of it. But the AI did not understand it, and it did not create it, and it didn't care whether or not you loved it.
AI features need to come a long way before they can truly be effective and not just a gimmick. And the end user needs to be able to choose whether they want the tool or not. And they need control over whether it's disabled. I haven't seen any real reason as to why we continue to allow these companies control over every part of our electronics. It seems like a scam to steal more data and sell it to advertisers. In conclusion, AI sucks, you suck, eat a cinder block.